pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, good morning, and we come to you today as another day. It's a gift from you, and so as we gather to discuss civic-minded service projects, and we ask that you just guide and bless this time together and be with those who maybe couldn't be with us today, but as we move forward as a club, that we continue to keep in mind the Rotary motto, and that is service above self. So, Lord, may this day be a service to you and a blessing to others. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Good morning, Rotarians.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Who's taking up Monday McDowell?
We'll take it here.
Bonsoir, monsieur.
All right, guys.
Picking up for this trip.
Jake needs some money. Oh, there's a little story about Jake. You'll have to find out about it. He took him to have him groomed. And they didn't know the groomer, I don't believe, on this one. And he came out a totally different dog. They just skinned him. Gay is really upset about that. So anyway, you'll have to check on him. He's having issues.
Yeah.
All right.
It looks fine. You come back.
Ron Leach.
Yeah.
All right, security, how do we stand? Are we covered?
We're in good shape. As a matter of fact, I saw a little problem coming through the door. I saw Gavin out there, hollered at him, and he took care of it.
Okay, good deal.
It won't be bothered again.
All right, that sounds great. Glad to hear that. Steve, we'll do it one more time. Your guests, and they haven't been installed yet as Rotarians. Would you be kind enough to introduce both of those?
Yes, I will. I have as my guest Roger Irvin, who is HR Director at CVCC. Ryan Inquiry was part of our K-64 initiative.
Okay, a couple little things I have to handle this morning. We do have newspaper recognitions, pictures, but we have two Rotary. Whoa! There we are. Good morning. Good morning.
Good afternoon.
How are you this morning?
I'm great.
Good.
Thank you so much.
You're going to have to go ahead and, oh boy, good deal. Leave one of those here if you will, at least on the page.
Yeah.
Grab it on money. All right, good. All right. We have three newspapers, and two of these I can't handle yet because the Rotarians are not here. But I would like to ask Ron Leach, this is not a picture. I mean, it doesn't relate to a picture of the person that's a Rotarian. But there was an article in the Hickman paper dealing with the soup kitchen. I thought it was really good. I don't know if you saw this. Dealing with the soup kitchen, but it's not a picture of a Rotarian, but it's Major Steptoe and what he's done and what the soup kitchen has meant in his life, and I thought it was great. If you haven't read it, pass it around. It's really good article. Okay. Now, we've got little issues to handle. Lynn Steamer.
Oh, no.
Lynn.
Me again?
Okay.
Steamer.
Yes,
Steamer. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Uh-oh. What's his name?
His name's not Steamer.
What's his name?
It's a good nickname. He's still thinking about that thing.
You're talking about what his grandson did.
All right, Lynn. Yes, sir. I'd like you to stand.
Uh-oh.
All right, 2 weeks ago,
$5.
2 weeks ago, you put $1 in for a Rotarian who was your sponsor that wasn't at our meeting. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Okay. Now, I have come to my attention that this Rotarian didn't come to Rotary for one reason. Do you understand what happened?
I do.
All right, what happened?
Do I really have to embarrass him?
Well, I think you should, yes.
Oh.
He forgot we were meeting at the church. He showed up here.
And he showed up here. All right, good. And he paid your fine, but I might have another fine on you. And I ain't going to be your counsel to alert you. There he is. All right.
More money. Jake's money.
It may have been, I didn't see him pull it out.
More money.
All right.
More money, more
Ron
money.
Leach.
Yes, sir.
All right, got something here for you to decide. Here he is here.
And they can.
All right, I'm gonna let you look at the service above self. We have a picture in the Hickory paper, and I need you to determine if it is service above self. Okay, look at this, employee of the year, and this Rotarian makes recognition to that employee, and would you determine that to be
Yeah,
service above self?
absolutely.
Who is it?
Doctor.
The doctor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, all right, all I
That's a
know,
blue bucket.
that's a blue bucket, $1 in a blue bucket.
That's $4 this morning. This is highway robbery.
Have you read that? Okay, I need another dollar for you, blue bucket, because you haven't read it. All right, go.
Where's the Jake pile? Where's the pile for Jake? Jake.
Jake,
I'm thinking $5. I ain't even thinking
Blue bucket.
Hey,
all right.
may I make a comment?
Yes, sir.
Ryan and Roger says our dues are very reasonable, but these fines sort of put us up there in the league.
Now you get it, now you get it.
All right, here is something the club has to decide. Okay, it's an issue, I discussed it last meeting. Okay, and I have been doing this for several years. I go by at 6:30 in the morning, at my Steiger's house, here in Steiger, and I'll just toot the horn a couple times. To let him know it's time for Rotary, for him to move on to the Rotary on time. 2 weeks ago, I was in the front yard with another guy, and some guy started blocking his horn a block above my house almost, all the way down, front of the house, down the street. He was in a black truck.
Oh, no.
And he continued to blow the horn. I have never really blown the horn, anything like that. I just
That's
gradually.
not the truth,
That-
Mr. That's not the truth.
Was Holy Trinity having a prayer service?
Yes, they were, absolutely, and I can stir that as well.
Anyway, the issue is before the club. Should we fine him? Because I have been very gentle with him.
Might as well.
Absolutely.
I'll go to the bank.
Absolutely.
All right.
No, you can.
Yeah.
I think we both put a fine in there, so anyway.
Got any auto service due?
You know it's coming down.
Here's your change.
I was expecting
All right.
to go to $50.
All right, here's the last one. Last week,
That's a $5 bill this morning. Pretty rough.
last week I mentioned that I may not make Paris, but I did. Let me tell you the story, and I'll repeat it again because it has a setting in Rhode. Okay, as you know, French like to strike a lot. And I've been there when the bakery was closed, the police, the gendarmes went on strike and all this. Okay, come Friday, all of Paris, all of France is protesting the gas prices and diesel prices. They're blocking a whole perimeter around Paris is going to be blocked on the 17th. And they've over 1 million signatures now. And they've got a yellow shirt in the back, that's their protest. So the diesel prices have gone up unbelievably and fuel prices. And Macron says, no, we will stay with it because this is for the climate environment and all. We're raising the tax. So all the taxes, everything is going to block Paris. So we elected next morning on the 18th, which would be Saturday, okay, we were getting out of Paris, on Sunday, excuse me, this happened on Saturday. We were getting out of Paris, 6 o'clock in the morning. And my wife, sweet thing, worried the whole time we'd never get out of Paris. And I figured, well, if it's going to be miserable for the whole time, I figured, well, yes, so we're going to regroup and do it again. Okay, but here's the question. I did, in a weaker moment, ask that Bob Steiger be a sergeant at arms.
Oh.
And I've had several Rotarians in here, Gavin and Phil, and Kenny have served as sergeant at arms, and I asked for Steiger. And the truth is, we didn't go to Paris because I was afraid that he was going to The whole, he would lose control in the whole club. So the true story, I'm here because I'm worried about Steiger being charged in the office.
Yeah, can we move on past Steiger this morning? Come on, we're stuck.
All right. If you didn't make the formation for Richard, I tell you, it was very impressive. We had like 5 Rotarians there. Glenn, of course, was part of it, but you should be proud of Richard. He is still celebrating. I think he's in Pigeon Forge right now, but it was well done. We're proud of both of them.
Gavin?
I'd just like to say that every year I look forward to one thing as an illustration of the change of season. You know, for some people it's falling the leaves or the squirrels gathering their nuts or whatever. For me, it's Bob and his winter plumage. When he goes into long pants. Every year it's a seasonal milestone. It's his way of gathering his nuts, I guess.
What's on video?
That's good, but I think you crossed the line on that. That's all right. All right.
Hey, you see, most folks do it to themselves, okay?
All right. Ryan, if you notice what's happening here at Watcher, this is typical. It's harassment, and we have to harass several members in the club. So
Make
keep
sure
that in
that's
mind.
U.S. money, please.
Yeah, I'm watching it. Okay.
Keep getting these foreign claims.
Let's see. Glenn has a problem with the conversion rates.
You can do one for one, you don't do them a little at a time. Hey, let's see. Any discussion of old business out there? Unfinished business, I should say.
Ryla.
Okay, I heard Ryla. Anything else?
Well, I have a report, but whenever you want me to.
That's Ryla.
The dances.
Dances, okay, well that was coming up with new business, I guess.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. Anybody else got anything that's unfinished? Okay, let's start off with our Ryla.
Can I ask a question of the group? Are we interested in donating to wheelchairs at all this year? No. Okay, that's fine. Are we interested in, my mind's gone. Talk about Ryla. We need to put up a candidate and be prepared to spend the $300 to host them, to pay for their hosting fees. And
Was that what I did?
that's what you did. That's what you did.
Well,
Michael has done 2 in the past
Well,
himself.
well, I would say let's say yes to doing it, and then try to find. I mean, I can find 2 candidates, but
Okay, we have one potential candidate, and that was Kenny's son, Seth. If he gets well enough to go, we had discussed the
So
possibility of sending him.
are we saying how many do we?
We
I
haven't
would
gotten
say-
that
I would
far.
say-
I'm still trying to get somebody to say, yes, we want to do it.
Well, I would say let's try 3, and then so if we budget a spot, let's try to.
Okay, for all of us, would you refresh us on what is Ryla? What's the age limits or whatever?
Goes up through seniors in high school. They are, I think, limiting it to 18. This year it'll be held at the YMCA out by Black Mountain. It'll be a 2.5 day course, goes Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, and come back Sunday. It's character building. It's teaching about Rotary. It is actually a training ground for those kids that might end up being Rotary ambassadors, which is a completely different program, but well worth investing in the youth that we're associated with. Michael.
And I can tell you that they really got a lot out of it. They enjoyed it. The leadership part of it was excellent. They got to see people from other places, and So every one of them that did.
Yeah, they also follow our fifth rule of the four-way test. Is it fun? And in the end, it is fun too. In addition to
It was
being educational and motivating and building up the self. Phil?
So this is not in the budget, is that correct?
That's correct.
It's not a budget
It'd
item.
be a charitable, I guess. Amount of charitable.
So does this follow the 1 week rule then? If-
Whatever,
if
we've
we
been talking
suggest-
about it for 5 or 6 weeks, so.
We're not voting, we're not gonna pay for it.
No, it's not necessary that we have to say that we're putting the money, it's not necessary to put the money forward for it today. We just continuing this discussion somewhere down the road.
I'm just trying to find out so I can tell the Ryla, Gary Dills is the one who's championing it this year. And I just need to tell him if we're gonna send 1, 2, or 3, or maybe, or whatever.
Okay,
I just wanted an indication.
have we decided, yes, as a club, by showing of hand, yes, we want to send at least one person to Ryla? Raise your hand. Okay. All right, so we are participating in the Ryla event. Okay. Now, do we have to tell you right now how many we're gonna send?
No.
Okay.
Tell them we may do as many as 3,
Right.
we find 3 good candidates.
Is there a committee that's going to be fact-finding for those students that we choose as a club?
Well, the only name we've had proposed is Seth. Okay,
Did
so
Jenny
Why
have
do we need
someone?
that?
Jenny thought she had someone she could get from, she did mention a potential
Okay, I
candidate,
just didn't want to
yes.
forget her. I
But
thought she said
we
something.
would put those names up and discuss them as an
Okay.
open discussion.
You said up through senior in high school, is there a lower, minimum level?
I'm gonna lie and say 8th grade, but I don't know. I think it's 9th grade.
Okay.
9, 10, 11, and 12.
Ryla is an awesome opportunity for young people. As Dr. Wimberly pointed out, some folks at Eve said, but I think I've seen the product of the number of young people who've gone through Ryla. And Ryla is youth leadership.
Academy.
Academy, Rotary Youth.
Yeah, Rotary Youth Leadership.
It had died because, twice, that was the first chair I had in this club was Ryla champion. And I had a great candidate from Hickory. And in the end, he couldn't go because his football coach wouldn't let him off for a week. And so when we had the youth meeting here, and Gary and I got to talking, we said, we work, I told him how we work via the Cristo, where we go Thursday through Sunday. He says, gosh, we could do that with Ryla. So they condensed the Ryla package so it could happen in 2.5, 3 days. And that's what we're pursuing now, to boost the opportunities, because a lot of kids the kids you want are so busy anyhow, you can't free them up. So if we can get them for a long weekend, then we'll have reached out to them.
So you said it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, basically.
Is there something similar for college students?
No, that's when we try to bring them into Interact and Rotaract. Bring the youth up through that.
We call it freshman year.
Freshman year is the wildest shit you ever spent in your life.
Call interaction,
Reaction.
I don't care what college you go to, freshman year is a whole local out. Okay. All right, so we've done Ryla, okay. Anything else? I got the report. Have you had to come back to your mind? Would
No,
you-
I'll let it go till I remember what it was.
Don't worry. I understand that, and know that, and why I understand that.
Oh, wheelchairs and shelter box. Do we want to put up money for a shelter box this year? That was the other one. Sorry, guys. Anybody remember what shelter box was? That used to be, which one of, wasn't Conrad, somebody was really big on that. No, it was before Phil. There was-
Me and,
Yeah.
Howell.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyhow,
We have three
shelter box,
conversations going.
shelter box are those packages that provide roof, shelter, cooking utensils, survival gear for people in crisis. I forget, for the tsunami in Japan, we sent 3,000 shelter boxes to them, and we just sent some to Haiti. Anyhow, I forget what they cost us, $1,000?
About $1,000, and it is literally a box. It's a really big tote, plastic tote thing, and it's got
the
everything
whole
in it
kit.
to keep people alive for a number of days out of the elements.
Yeah, I can almost believe they're in the shelter box and eating the Rise Against Hunger food.
Probably, exactly.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Phil, please.
Well,
Say that
I think
louder. We had some other folk talking.
It is a great program, and it does meet the basic tenets of Rotary in terms of helping people in crisis and providing that shelter for a number of days when nothing else is available for them. We sort of kick it around every year, and next time when we work on our budget, maybe this is something we should consider, like RILA, shelter box.
And we have shown that at some of our benevolences. We used to show it on I haven't seen a bulletin for so long. We used to show it on the bulletin that we participated in that.
Right. So it certainly is worthy. The last time I saw the numbers, it's still right at $1,000
Yeah.
for a shelter box. So yeah, I would be in favor of supporting that.
Okay. One last thing. The Rise Against Hunger grant. Before I submit the final paperwork asking for the grant, we tentatively have it. If we complete paperwork and get started, and then when the time comes, give the check to the Rise Against Hunger chair. Is there any reason I shouldn't continue to pursue the grant?
Is that the one, Bob, that we get a certain percentage?
We get half of it back,
Yeah. So what is it that we're committing?
1,500.
15, we'll get 750.
Right.
Okay.
I think we should do it.
I think that's a good investment.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. Bob Steiger has his hand up.
Yeah, I just have a question. We need to be careful about what we spend because we haven't generated much income. So I don't know what's already accountable for 18/19, but I know we have sponsors to the tune of $6 grand, Steve? $5 grand. And they can go on again, correct?
You mean scholarships?
Scholarships, yes, I'm sorry. So, with that being said, without going into our CD, you've only got $23,000 in the bank. Take 5 away from that, and it takes, if we decide to go forward and do any more dances, it leaves you pretty close to a $5,000 balance. If it takes 10 to put a dance on, the return was only $3,000 on the last dance.
There's been times we didn't have the 500.
Correct. Less than that,
I
actually.
think we're good.
Yeah.
For our obligations. But I agree with you.
Yeah.
We need to be cautious.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because I don't want to sell it no chicken and dump.
But thinking as what they were saying though, from now on and kind of on our new stuff, why don't we use what we make in the current dance as our guideline? You know what I'm saying?
For budget?
Yeah, but the new stuff, because we got a set budget, we got stuff we got to do. And then, like, we made $3,000, so as we talk about how we're gonna spend what we're gonna do stuff, then if we got 3,000, use that as
It's a good thought.
our gauge of how much we can spend as we decide what we're gonna do. And that way we kind of maintain, in a way, that would be, it's kind of smart.
I think that's a good suggestion, but I think that sometimes there may be,
Let's
not lock ourselves into that.
Oh, no, guideline.
You know,
A guideline, like, we made $3,000 on this and we cleared $3,000,
Yeah.
then we start talking about new stuff for that year.
It needs to fit in that
Yeah,
$3,000 for the most part.
for the new stuff.
Yeah,
That
but
we
our
already
new
got-
stuff,
that we got
the stuff that's on
paid.
budget is gonna be
Right.
taken care of, but
Right.
new stuff you're saying.
Yeah.
And we're not saying lock it in, we're
Nope.
saying, that's a
That's a guide.
good, strong suggestion.
Yeah.
So now, on the RILA piece, I think someone asked a question earlier, and I don't know that we got a definitive response. Is that going to the group that makes that call, or has it, remember that 4 or 5 of us who decides whether we,
I think we
Is this
decided
something that
when we,
falls, or-
when we had somebody, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we have somebody when we're
with a
ready
request?
to request for the funds, then we do it that way.
I think it should go to the.
Yes.
I think the
Yes.
committee needs to
Yes.
decide, I mean,
Absolutely.
how much we do.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So let's make sure that
Yeah, we have a formal
process.
step-by-step process
Yeah.
now with a request for funds, form to fill out,
Right.
folks to look at it, come back to the club a week later with a recommendation.
So is that a formal request on the table? Is that what I'm hearing?
It is not a request.
No, no,
Not
no,
some of our
that-
candidates.
What?
Yeah, all we do is candidate, right?
Oh, okay. We have, with one discussion, we have some periphery around that discussion. The periphery is, talking about how we go about funding whatever we come up with. And one suggestion from Dr. Wimberly was that new money that comes in, that, like for instance, this last $3,000, that we consider that as money for these unbudgeted and new requests. And so Steve brought up the point that, what are we talking about as far as, there's a committee that represents this body, that whenever somebody comes with a request, that request goes to the committee. And the committee of 5, I believe it is, that committee of 5 will then come back to the club saying, okay, we recommend that we go forth and pay or don't pay this request. And so that's what I think you were talking about.
Absolutely.
And we kind of got it looped in one, but it should not be one. Okay. Yes, sir.
May I raise a question? Glenn, this thank you note from Hickory Public Schools for a $500 donation, is that the one we gave to Viewmont?
Yes.
Oh, okay, because that was to Jenny, to the vice principal, and we got a thank you from the superintendent. I'm just,
Right,
wanted to
we
make
got
sure-
2 actually, yeah.
I wanted to make
But
sure
it
it wasn't.
did go to the principal, not the superintendent.
Right,
It's supposed to
right,
go
but the
to-
thank you came from the superintendent, so.
And
That bothered me,
handwritten thank
that either
you.
there was another 500 I didn't know about, or
No.
just one 500, okay.
Okay, went to the school.
Let me take a second for administration, for you two to understand. Most Rotary clubs have an executive committee. We do not. Okay, since we've been so small and we've had so many charter members still at the table, we have continued to meet for these 10 odd years as a committee of the whole. When we do administrative business, we do it as a committee of the whole. That's why the conversation seems to change and get a little pushy-shovey, but it's because we're discussing business. Okay?
And at one point, the group decided that rather than consider every request that comes through right away, we'd send that request to this committee of 5, and that committee of 5 would, through internet, communicate with each other and say, okay, I believe this should go forth or shouldn't go forth based on this, and we
Bring it back.
bring it back to the group as a suggestion, and then the group says, okay, we agree with you or we disagree with you,
And
and we
then
go from
accept the
there.
motion one way or the other.
Because we got a group that just loves the kids. That's how we do it. That's
And,
how we
and,
do it.
and the other thing you'll see happen, and he'll start it, the guy in the blue, what you call it there? If it doesn't get direct action, he'll throw $20 down on the table and ask for matching funds, and half the time we'll fund 5 or 6 things that way. And it's off budget, it doesn't have anything to do with the club's budget or anything else, it's just hearts open.
And-
Am I right, Michael?
And this club does that from time to time, and most recently for one of our brothers that's Kenny, his son, Seth, just really going through health issues. He's running the Baptist hospital twice a week. Okay, so if he's running, Kenny has a job that if he's not there, he's not making money. Yeah,
Could we help with this? Operating expenses.
anyway.
Okay.
All right.
Spider's finally gonna get the floor.
Okay, did you want the floor started?
Well, there's some things that need to be discussed.
Okay.
The dances moving forward is a hot topic because we had talked about the possibility of getting off of October and all the other things going on for that month. And the only thing left at the mill for September is the 28th. Everything else is booked.
I don't know that
No
we-
other day in
I don't think we got
October?
off of October.
No.
I think we said.
We just off
There's
Halloween.
nothing open for October. Yeah, we had to get off, yes. If we don't take the Saturday before Halloween, we're done with the mill. They just don't have anything. It's a lot of weddings for next year. And of course, we were talking about St. Patty's, and March 16th is our day, so we have to talk about whether we're going to use that date or we're going to give it up. Now, with that being said, I thought that, you know, this is our 5th or 6th year, maybe our 7th year that we've done dances. We started out making $9,000 to $12,000 at our dances, and we're down to $3,000. So something's changed.
But Bob, when you say down to 3,000, that's 3,000.
It-
I mean,
it
that's,
is.
that's significant.
It is. But I think
That's
there's
still better than orange juice sales.
No. I get that, but there's a much easier way to do this, okay? So offered to the club, again, Market on Main has said, why don't we open up the whole place and we put different venues in different rooms? We put a jazz ensemble in one room, we put maybe some light dance music in another room,
Room where? At Market on Main?
the whole building, okay? And he would charge for the entertainment and the meal $20 a person. We charge $30. You put 300 people in the room, there's your $3,000.
How many
Club
will the room
doesn't have
support?
to do much but sell tickets. That's
How,
all we
how,
have to
how,
do.
how much will the room support?
300 people in the building.
It could support more than that.
Huh?
It could support more than
Yeah,
that. but-
yeah. But I mean, again, we're at 300 ticket sales, and that's $3,000 for the night. We don't do anything but sell tickets.
So he finds the entertainment.
He's got the entertainment.
I have a question. Why can't we get sponsors as well?
Can, well, there you go. Michael's chiming in, because it doesn't
But
work.
he gets the booze.
He has the bar.
Yeah, which is
Okay,
fair.
No, we don't want the bar.
let me ask something.
Liability.
Last year, St. Patty's time dance, what did it make, 3,000? And this year,
It was
this,
not quite. Yeah,
it was close to
Two
3,000.
something.
I thought
yeah.
we had decided that we're gonna go away from the St. Patty Day dance.
We did not.
We're going away from the holidays.
Yeah,
We've got too
themed,
much competition.
In
Yes.
but we haven't
Yeah.
gone away from something happening in the spring.
Spring and fall.
We didn't say exactly on this St. Patty's Day. We didn't kill the idea of doing something as a fundraiser. So we got, as Bob said, spring.
Well,
Yes, sir.
maybe I misunderstood. Go ahead, Dan.
I'm sorry, I think we need to look at why we went 10 to 3. And I think the reason is that it's bad luck. The game that we normally sell tickets to had a conflict. They had a free thing they could go to the same night.
Yeah, but everybody else in our town had something else they could go to too. John Duke had 285 people in his building
Yeah.
the same night.
Well, maybe
So-
the key is trying to find a night that we can do what we've always been doing around Halloween.
Yeah, and that's why we moved to the possibility of September 28th. And that was my conversation with the mill 2 weeks ago, but I don't even know if that's still available. He needed an answer, and I just couldn't get him an answer that fast. So I will call and see if anything is still available.
Bob, do you think we would lose some of our existing people? You know, some folks seem to really, if you look at some of the
Yeah,
costumes they use.
yeah, I think so, but I think with different venues and different rooms, you're gonna attract different folks,
Yeah.
you know? If we time it just right, coming out of winter, I'm just throwing some thoughts out there. Coming out of winter, the holidays are over, people are bored, what do we do tonight, that type of thing.
You mean September?
No, before, like after Christmas and the New Year?
It's March.
And you're
March.
end of February,
Yeah.
beginning of March?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do tonight? You know, that's what
But you know, we now honestly, and you talking about Brandon, we already have a name, we know for a name. And we could, I mean, you know, cause I was thinking about trying to put the costume part of it with the part not to get in competition. Cause you know, people in that, during the competition, find out when they're having everything. If September's good, why don't we start an annual? And you know, if the people, cause people love dressing up.
Mhm.
They'll dress up anytime. If you tell me having your annual,
Fall ball?
costume ball, and sell it like this is ours now. Do an annual costume ball.
Can do
you
that.
want on the 28th.
You could compete with Mardi Gras in the spring.
And you, well, even then,
You know, we could do a Mardi Gras.
Yeah,
But if
Mardi
we,
Gras. Bob,
but if we brand it
Okay,
ourselves,
hey, one at a time.
yeah, but if we brand it
Mike,
ourselves
second
and
floor.
start that kind of
Yeah.
situation,
I agree.
then we might have something.
Sure.
We might, because we've already got a reputation.
Okay, Gavin.
Not stagnant.
Bob, your idea, I love that idea of different things going on in different rooms and so on and marketing. I, for one, would enjoy that a lot more. What about doing it like in early December and doing it like a Christmas village? And you could have all these different, people playing music, but you could also, have people, craft people or whatever, selling stuff, charge them $25 to set up a table or something. And you've got all that, the way Marketing Main is set up, if you've got the whole building, you could create a whole sort of atmosphere around that.
You know what you just described?
Christmas market.
Crystal Knock in Vienna.
But let me tell you something, if you
But I
wanna,
mean, it's just like that.
if you wanna compete, you try starting in
No, but I
December.
mean,
As far as
Yeah.
Also,
community,
yeah.
it's something every night, starting in December first.
There's a ton load
Choral
of.
Society, 40s radio shows,
Yeah.
on and on and on.
Yeah.
It is.
December is a rough month. Steve has the floor, please.
My thing is, we have a tough enough time with one venue in one place. Moretz Mills, for instance, and if we got all these different venues going on in different rooms and all, wouldn't that be somewhat resource intensive for the club?
I don't know what we would have to do.
Yeah, you don't do anything, that's the,
Market on Lane, I understand you're running all that.
they are. We're just collecting $10 off every
You're
ticket
not
we sell.
investing in all the things. and
No
you're not
investment.
losing. The only thing you're gonna make is what
That's
the
right.
effort to get sales. No,
Well, what he's doing is using us to advertise his event.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, this is what you risk. We have a reputation. When we go in a place, we leave the place at least as good or better than when we left. If you have a whole building market on the main, and there were like 4 of us at the end of the dance, 4 of us cannot clean that whole building.
We don't have to touch the cleaning.
Well,
cleaning.
4 of us cannot police that whole building.
He's saying it's not our job. He'll
That's
take
not our
care of
job.
it. He's the host.
We have one job, and that's to sell a ticket.
But we brought the crowd. Aren't we responsible for what the crowd does?
Well, let's look at facts. Let's look at facts.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, if we didn't sell the $3,000 worth of sponsorships, which one person in the club sold, we wouldn't have made any money on this last dance, okay? So, let's be truthful. Most people have trouble selling tickets. Most people have trouble selling sponsorships or ads. So let's take that out of the equation, because I don't know that the next dance that we do at the Moretz Mill is going to be any different than this dance. And by the grace of God, we got $3,000 for sponsorships, because I considered it a loser up until the 9th hour.
Let me ask something. Okay, not talking about this dance, but the 2 dances prior. Who did we have? What was the name of the group?
Band of Oz,
Twice. Was there a reason we couldn't get the Band of Oz?
Yeah, they went to Charlotte and we didn't know it.
They were already booked. The night of the dance, I already asked them, said that somebody come to. So, that's what you're up against all the time. But again, I mean, and that's my music. I enjoy that music, but you're dealing with a small piece of the pie.
I love your idea, Bob, I think this is really.
This is what I want us to consider. Okay, we have a brand for costume party in October. We really don't have a solid niche, I don't think, around St. Patty's Day. I'm thinking we need to hang on. We spend a lot of time developing this brand. Somebody can walk in and
October's
take it.
gone though.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
even October, September, the end of September, whatever, we can do costume ball right there and still it be our brand annual event, you know. But if we go away from it, that's gonna be filled and somebody's gonna fill it big with the costume and it's gonna be the biggest thing that hit paper.
But could we not do it at Marks and May and still have costumes?
I like the September 28th costume ball.
We'd have to build it around something.
Yeah.
You know, Mardi Gras and Hickory or something like that, so. But again, that's somebody, you know, Steve stepped up to the plate and took the catering and took that on and got that handled, and that worked beautifully. You have to have people engage, and that's the problem with the club, if I can be perfectly blunt. And you know, Michael knows exactly what I'm getting ready to say. It's just, it's a push, you know? Bob gets the band, Bob gets the venue, we do this, we do that, Steve got the food, the night of the dance, it's all set, so, but there's no engagement up to the point of that night. You know, setting up tables and making sure this person sits with this person, and these are the people that keep coming back, dance after dance after dance. So sure, we have to cater to them, we have to make sure they're happy. You know, I had a lady the night of the dance say, "Can you not get me any closer to the band stage?" And I went and looked and I said, "You're in the same room as the band. What would you like for me to do?" So they want to be right up front. And
Some do,
Yeah.
then some want to be in the next room.
yeah, and then people said it was too loud. A lot of people left early because it was too loud. And they toned it down. I know, to a live,
A live
yeah.
band.
By the way, just moving forward, I know some of you enjoyed the music, some didn't. Jim Quick and the Coastline Band that played for us 3 weeks later was at the Cammy Awards at Myrtle Beach and walked away with Entertainer of the Year, Songwriter of the Year, Musician of the Year. They walked away on and on and on. And then in front of 6,000 people, he stood up and he said, "I'm leaving the band. I've signed a national recording contract with Nashville."
No kidding.
So he's gone. He's gone. He's gonna take care of his things up to March or April, and the Coastline Band will just be without Jim Quick. So he's gone to Nashville. So that was the big news that came out of the beach a week and a half ago.
So
I
my
think-
question, I'm sorry, Christine.
I think we ought to let the club sort of process what we've been talking about and then come back and discuss this at another time when we've all got time to sort of process it and think about everything that's going into it. Think about our brand. Think about how successful it is.
Sure.
Think about we made $3,000.
Why not just try the other one? Because there's no involvement. Just have 5 or 6 guys there the night of the venue and see what happens with ticket sales. You have locals. You have Rick Klein Trio. Okay? Everybody knows Ulysses. Ulysses would be on the piano. Okay? And so on and so forth. You'd have local people playing.
So how many people would we have to get, or how many tickets would we have to sell? And $3,000 to say that's a goal is really.
That's not much.
No, I would not say that's a goal. I would just say that's a minimum, but if we pick a number, what would it take for us to make?
Well, the nice thing about it, John says 2 weeks out. If we've only sold 200 tickets, then we condense the venue.
But now, how much would it take to make the money? I mean, we wanna make, but that's not something we can discuss now.
Correct.
I'm just
You need
saying,
$10
things to throw out there. Huh?
Yeah,
$10 a person.
That's right.
People sell 10 tickets
So
at
that's
200.
probably getting close to the max.
Right, so once we get people in, the most we can make in that thing is $300, $3,000.
She sells sponsorships.
Sponsorship.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why would they sponsor?
One other thing, now
Advertising
speak,
sponsor. Yes, sir.
one other thing that was mentioned, and I think it has potential, is Mardi Gras in Hickory.
Yeah.
And that really rings to a lot of interest. And I think that could be something we could spin out on and do well with.
That's February, of course, isn't it?
Yes.
What's
It's spring, whenever.
First week in February.
Ron, what do you think about the Shaggers? I mean, you're just as involved as I am. Do you think it's run its course? You know, everything with that community runs its course. McCloskey's on Thursday night. It's kind of
Is it?
whittling out a little bit. So, you know what I'm getting ready to say. They just get bored. And they're cheap, you know? Shaggers are cheap. So that's why I thought maybe.
You know, I still like the weekend deal idea if Lake Hickory Shag Club.
Wants to jump on board. Yeah, that takes 2 years to plan though.
Yeah.
You gotta get on the calendar.
What if, just as a future thought,
Got a hand up.
what if we accepted the Shag Group's offer to host a regional finals?
Again, you're gonna split the profits with them.
Well, I understand that, but we
Yeah.
could do that in the summertime. They shag in the summer.
Well, that has to be a winter thing.
You're kidding.
That's when they travel.
Keep
They
my
go
mouth
to the
shut.
beaches.
Okay, we have an idea of what kind of money that is, and then what kind of money splitting with the shaggers would be.
I think the last time they did it, which was about 10, 12 years ago, they did $36,000 for the weekend. That's after all the expenses were paid.
And so splitting that's not bad.
Yeah.
18 sounds okay.
But they got a piece of the rooms, they got a piece of this, they got a piece of that, so.
Some of something,
Yeah.
better than none, all of nothing. Okay, Phil.
So I'm getting a little confused about what all we're kicking around here. I've heard Market on Main, I've heard Mardi Gras and Hickory. Are we talking the same thing? Would the Market on Main thing be?
Wherever you wanna have it.
Could we put it together that soon?
Sure.
Knowing that Mardi Gras is
Sure.
late
Yeah.
February, early March, I don't know, whenever.
What kind of music is Mardi Gras? It's the,
Dixie.
Dixieland jazz.
Zydeco.
We could pull a band out of Charlotte, that's not a problem.
So is it possible to put those two together and then still keep the fall idea, end of September or Halloween for our costume event? And have those be two things? Or are we asking the club to do too much? And are we asking Bob to do too much? Let's be frank about
I
this.
think we're asking too much. I think that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go, we'll say it.
Because I think we're talking about three things now.
No.
Because we talked about the thing for the fall, we talked about the thing for the spring, then we somehow began talking about this finalist for shaggers.
Well, we just trying to find two ways to
Yeah.
get money.
Right, so I'm
Okay.
saying,
Okay.
we need to talk about when, you know.
Well, October is burnout, be honest. It's
No.
burnout. And we can't, we ain't competing with too many people in October.
Why don't you try the thing at Market on Main? We'll let John bear all the expense. We'll give him a little bit of backup help. If we walk away with $3,000 for a night, are you kidding me?
Well, why don't we accept Rick's
That's the
suggestion?
best we made even on the ones that we were making like 9,000 because the sponsorship, I don't think we ever made more than $2,000 or $3,000.
Correct, the rest was sponsorship. That's right.
So we're starting off with that already.
If we sell it.
If we
If
sell
we sell
tickets.
tickets.
We didn't
Yeah.
sell 300 tickets as bad, we
Right.
did not sell 300 tickets as dance.
But that's the same whether we do it there or Martin Main, we've got to sell tickets.
Right, right.
Sponsor what we got planned.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I'm keeping on the extra money.
All we've been doing is tossing around ideas. The whole discussion started around the idea that that the dances are not producing the revenues they have in the past. Bob offered us a suggestion for a way to run a no-cost venue, and that came up. And then we discussed other ways to do dances, because we don't want to give up the idea of being the dance club. All this, under Rick's suggestion in his email, was open it up for discussion now, and at a formal business meeting for fundraising, discuss how we're going to do it, when we're going to do it, who's going to do it, what we're going to do. And that's still the table to get there.
Absolutely.
But we have had some discussion, we will have a business formal.
Glenn's got to give his finances.
report, please.
Quickly, November 5th letter from Lackey Accounting and Tax Service, to whom it may concern. I've audited the books for Rotary Club of Hickory Sunrise from 7/1/17 through 6/30/18. I'm pleased to inform you all credits and debits have been properly recorded with corroborating bank statements, properly labeled and substantiated receipts, deposit items, etc., provided upon request. There are no discrepancies in bookkeeping and on record keeping report. Rotary Club of Hickory Sunrise Treasurer has been diligent in his duties. No suggestions for improvement with the current method of bookkeeping or record keeping. Thank you. If you can be of further assistance, let me know. So here's
That's
the
worth
letter.
the clap. That's our assurance that our treasurer has not embezzled any money
That's
from
correct.
us.
There you go, thank you.
And, but more importantly,
he
from
wrote
my
the letter.
standpoint, guys, we have to stay square with Rotary International, and we have to stay square with the federal government. Glenn has done that. We have those reports in, we have that acknowledgement from RI, we're clean there.
If you want to see that, see me afterwards. I don't mind.
Steve got seen that.
Oh, not last. Anybody else have anything before we stand up?
Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Now, as an aside, if anybody's interested, at 6 o'clock, there are going to be 2 missionaries from Guinea at Christ Lutheran Church to explain.
Today?
Yeah, to explain their mission to Muslim group Mantika.
Thank you guys very much. Godspeed.
You guys.
How you like that?